Welcome to uh, welcome to Monday Morning Dharma. Thank you for joining us. You know, something in my meditation practice that becomes increasingly apparent to me is this matter of yoga, of yoga. Yoga, different translations depending on who you talk to. But the translation that resonates most with me is to unify. To unify. When we think about yoga that we practice in the big room adjacent to us here, we think about um, uniting body and mind, right? The unification of body and mind, yoga. I think that every meditation practice, without exception, is a form of yoga. What we are really doing is unifying our mind with our object of meditation, making it one, as in subject and object cease. Um, and this morning, we're going to meditate on the yoga, if you will, of patient acceptance. Yeah, kind of what we talked about in Friday's class. Actually, just started to talk about a little bit, but enough words about that. Words get in the way of yoga because words are necessarily inadequate representation of what's really going on, right? For example, we know that the word love is not the same as love, the actual love, the entity of love. So at some level, words get in the way. So I guess this is the part where I shut up and we start meditating. Okay. Let's go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture. Please take care to ensure that your spine is straight and relaxed. Please give yourself full permission to drop down in, to settle, to rest. To drop down into silence, to drop down into stillness. And to begin, I'd like you to please bring your awareness to the exhalation of your breath. And very gently, allow your exhalation to be just a bit longer and a bit more pronounced than your inhalation. Please feel free to experiment with pausing briefly at the bottom of each exhalation. This meditation technique will allow both your physical body and your mind to start to settle and to rest, to become quiet and still. Deeper and deeper on down. And let yourself go. When you encounter a situation that you find undesirable, you have two choices. You can resist or you can accept. Resisting what is will perpetuate your suffering. Accepting what is will liberate you from your suffering. Please know that patience is not gritting your teeth and putting up with a situation. Patience is a mind that wholeheartedly accepts whatever arises, having abandoned the notion that things should be other than what they are. Please know this truth about patient acceptance. If you perfect your practice of patient acceptance, you will never suffer again in this lifetime. So now I'd like you to please just rest in acceptance. Resting in acceptance is the yoga of acceptance. No further analysis is necessary. There's nothing to figure out. Just rest with this healing, this liberating mind of acceptance. accepting what is will liberate you from your suffering. To deepen your experience of acceptance, you may find it beneficial to conjoin your practice of meditation on the inner body with resting in acceptance. Draw your awareness inside of your body, become the silent observer of sensations, and in this meditative state, rest in acceptance. Rest, relax, allow. Allow the world to be as it is. This is true acceptance. For the last moment or two of our meditation, please give yourself permission to absorb even more deeply into this beautiful, healing mind of acceptance, conjoining your resting in acceptance with meditation on the inner body. Now, please gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of this collection of parts we've agreed to label physical body, and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, becoming aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you are occupying. Become aware again of clouds, of blue sky beyond the clouds, of limitless space beyond the blue sky. And we dedicate all of the merit, all of the positive energy from this morning's meditation to world peace. May all people without exception soon come to enjoy an abundance of pure air and water, delicious, nutritious food, safe, warm, dry, reliable, affordable shelter, and comfortable, functional, attractive clothing. And with everyone's basic needs met, may we all enter and progress on wisdom paths that lead to complete liberation from all forms of suffering. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Welcome back. Welcome back. So, in that meditation on acceptance, a part that I often include that's important for us to understand and internalize is that patiently accepting a situation that we find undesirable and taking steps to improve that situation are not mutually exclusive. Kind of the analogy that I use is we can wholeheartedly accept the fact that we have a headache and take medicine to relieve the pain of the headache. Those two actions can be entirely complementary. It's when we take steps to change a situation before we've accepted them that problems start to arise. Because if we do that, if like we say we're in a, and by the way, let me just say, when it comes to patient acceptance, start with kind of easier objects of acceptance. Yeah. Like starting with, to wholeheartedly accept your friend who ran off with your fiance the day before your wedding. Maybe not the best object of practice to start with, right? But, how about starting with just somebody who gets on your nerves, maybe somebody who pushes your buttons from time to time. Yeah. Um, if we try to change a situation, like maybe extracting ourselves completely from that relationship, oh, this person gets on my nerves, I'm going to extricate myself from this relationship. I'm just gonna, go away, without accepting what we're trying to do is manipulate externalities in the name of trying to make ourselves happy, and how has that worked out over the last 50, 60 years? Yeah, not terribly successful, not successful at all for most of us. Yeah. Neighbors are a good object of practice for those of us who have neighbors. Yeah, it's like, you know, neighbors don't act the way we want them to all the time. Even if they act the way we want them to most of the time, those one or two things that they don't have right becomes like an object of meditation for us. And we focus on that. And sometimes we take steps or plan steps to remedy the situation. Barking dogs, loud motor vehicles, you know, fence boundaries, whatever it might be, they, you know, and then we kind of strategize about ways that we can fix the situation without having first accepted what is. That's trying to manipulate externalities in the names of trying to control the external world, basically. It's impossible. It's an impossible exercise in futility. So maybe starting with working on patient acceptance before we take actions, but keeping in mind that taking actions is not in conflict with patiently accepting. Okay. That's like an abusive relationship, If we're in an abusive relationship, can get out of it and try to accept what is to the best of our ability. Okay. So, we're going through the Four Noble Truths, as you know. First noble truth is you should know suffering. Two is you should abandon origins. The second of the Four Noble Truths is what we're on now. You should abandon origins. You should abandon the origins of suffering. And we talked about the fact that the origins of our suffering are not difficult neighbors. They're not political systems. They're not the weather. They're not inanimate objects. They're painful states of mind with which we engage with those situations. Delusions, we referred to them as before. That's a common term, delusions. And I reflected long and hard about delusions this weekend and my presentation of delusions. It's really easy for me to get into kind of an academic, intellectual presentation of delusions and coming to realize that that's not most beneficial, I think, for most of us because it's movement of the heart that we're trying to get to, not movement of the head. But I just have to include a little bit of an intellectual presentation of it, just so we all know what we're talking about. Okay. Like we talked about the three root delusions, right? Anger. That's what we talked about in Friday's class. Anger, desire, sometimes called attachment, sometimes called desirous attachment, and the one that we're going to talk about for the next couple of classes after this morning, which is ignorance. Ignorance is the root delusion. And I know everybody knows ignorance is not stupidity, right? Ignorance is just a misunderstanding, an honest misapprehension. Okay. So, but the other two root delusions are really the ones that play out in our daily lives, anger and attachment. And anger is thinking that something external to us has the power to make us unhappy. Attachment, thinking that something external to us has the power to make us happy. Okay. This externality is going to make me unhappy or is making me unhappy. I need to get myself as far away from it as I can. Okay. This object over here, this shiny thing, is making me happy or has the power to make me happy. I'm going to run after that and try and obtain it and hold it all to myself, right? running away from the bad things and the bad people, running after the things that are going to make me happy, the good people, and we're just running around, and it becomes problematic because the bad things change into good things, and then the good things change into bad things. And so we're like running around like crazy people. Okay. The point that I really, really want to make to you this morning, talking from the heart now, is that the definitions of anger and attachment are very, very similar. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to start out with the first few words. Anger, a mind that focuses on an object and perceives it to be unpleasant. And then on the rest of the definition goes. Attachment, a mind that focuses on an object and perceives it to be pleasant. Right? Definitions are almost identical, just a couple of key words change. One, it involves focusing on the object, and then we perceive the object to be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and therefore irrelevant. Please key in, you guys, please key in on the importance of perception. And one of the delusions that we have, that we make every day, almost all the time in our day-to-day lives, is we confuse perception with reality, right? We don't think, I perceive this person as being bad. We just think this person is bad, right? And we sort of lose sight of the fact that our perception has everything to do with our experience of an object. And this is really good news, because perception is a function of mind. And we have the potential to be able to control our mind. Therefore, we can change how we perceive things and situations and people and so forth. That's the heart message that I wanted to convey. Yep. We don't think, usually, unless we're on our best Dharma behavior, we don't think, oh, my perception of this situation is this. No, our automatic, instantaneous default is, this is bad. This situation is bad. This situation is good. If we can key into the fact that it's a function of our perception, which is inexact, it is subjective, we get mental space, we get clarity, and we've got the ability to move and change our mind and be less delusional, if you will, and our suffering thus will decrease. Okay. Really key, really, really key. In Friday's class, we'll talk about the root delusion of ignorance. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Thank you very, very much. Have a great week.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Bye.
Thanks, Jeff.
Good.
You're most
Bye-bye.
welcome.